Silverstone Books presents the world's first audio manga, Harmonix: Rise of the Magician. Written by Colin Earle and Chris Snellgrove. Music by The Epilogues. Hear more great tracks at theepilogues.com. Can't wait week to week for your fix? Harmonix is also available as an ebook, and the paperback edition is chock full of extra chapters, exclusive content, and the entire first episode of Season 2. Visit ColinEarle.com to get it and to find news, updates, and more insane stories.
My soul, crossing synapses, confusing all I know.
The Lion and the Lamb. Time: current day, early morning. Scene: T-Trax Park. Come on, Dick. You're gonna have to do better than that if you don't want me to flatten your fat face. Sam could hear the taunting before she could see what was happening. She had run all the way to T-Trax's hamster wheel, which was really just a cute way of saying playground equipment. A huge multi-story castle of a jungle gym which included towers, walkways, and battlements was only one part of the hamster wheel's amenities. The park, affectionately called Camelot, was a place that many of the older Academy City 676 residents liked to gather in those rare moments of free time. This tendency to congregate virtually guaranteed that if there was something interesting happening, they could get information and details at the base of Camelot. This morning was no different. There was already an expanding crowd of students whooping at the proceedings. Sam and Cammie pushed their way through the crowd, stopping as soon as they reached the front. Sam groaned in unison with the spectators as the people around her flinched back at the sound of a sharp smack cracking against exposed skin. Sam took a deep breath. Why? Why do you have to deal with this? Her voice drifted off as the scene continued to unfold. Two boys were circling each other. The first, a boy with tight spiral locks of hair, had his hands up, mimicking the old 20th century boxing pros while he danced around the second. Curly Q's shirt was off, his body glistening with just the right amount of sweat to accent an almost perfect physique. The second boy, a chubby kid with massive girth, was sweating gallons as he tried to fend off Curly Q. Fatty's defense was desperate, his footwork slow, and his punches pitiful. This fight was the equivalent of an old fat lamb trying to take on a young, overzealous lion, while the rest of the jungle watched the disembowelment. The crowd oohed and ahed as Curly Q connected a punch to the side of Fatty's face. Fatty crumpled to the ground, spitting blood. Curly Q threw his arms up as the crowd cheered. "Don't even think about it, Sam," whispered Cammie in a not-so-quiet voice. "You'll only embarrass him." Sam turned to face Cammie. "But come on, Cammie. You saw that punch. He's really going to hurt him this time." "You say that every time, Sam, and it never happens. I'm starting to think this is more for show than anything else." Just then, Curly Q landed another shot, this time to the body. Fatty went down again. A round of high fives from some of his goony friends ensued as Curly Q danced to the enthusiastic cheers of adoration from the onlookers. Fatty was spitting blood again and was nursing a fat lip. Curly Q knelt down in front of him. "Dick, I thought you were taking a mixed martial arts class. Weren't you supposed to be getting better at this? It's getting really old just beating your blubber all the time." "We cannot all be as physically gifted as you, Dyson. Though, it does make me speculate how your performance may suffer when you have opponents that will actually fight back." The crowd started to laugh, but it almost instantly sputtered and coughed into a hushed mumble. Danni Dyson the 13th was a high roller, even in the High-Trax crowd. But at just over 1.5 meters tall and only 59 kilos, it was hard to be intimidated by him personally. His gang of bodyguards, on the other hand, were rumored to be byproducts of failed attempts at crossing humans with polar bears. The Ganga population became completely loyal to Dyson's father after the business mogul donated crates of the legendary cleaning configurations to the fragmented government of the Burning Plains. Nestled in the heart of the unlivable lands of the South, the burning plains were some of the most inhospitable land on good old Mother Earth, and the Ganga called it their home. Because of Danni Dyson XII's act of kindness, or perhaps his ploy to cement forced indentured servitude, the Ganga were tied to the Dyson family, and probably would be for the foreseeable future. Then there was Sam's best friend, Richard. Sweet, good-hearted Richard, who just happened to be the smartest student to ever attend Academy City 676. This was Richard's blessing and curse. While he was one of the smartest people Sam had ever known, he wasn't a fighter, despite his hulking 2-meter and almost 145-kilo frame. No, Richard wasn't a fighter. An eater, yes, but not a fighter. The Ganga's threatening glares stifled the giggles that snapped and popped behind cupped mouths, but not before Dyson heard them. He gave Richard a swift kick to the gut. Richard groaned in pain. "Stop laughing immediately!" Dyson called out to the crowd, his voice going shrill. "Or you will suffer! I will make you all suffer! I'll show you! I'll show all of you!" Dyson snapped his fingers. The Ganga snapped to attention. "Get him up! We're done playing around!" The Ganga followed orders, grabbing hold of Richard and hoisting him up. Now on his feet, the Ganga threw him against one of Camelot's support beams. The gathered crowd started to mutter amongst themselves. Richard closed his eyes as his legs started to shake violently, a habit that Sam knew all too well. Richard was scared. Dyson walked around as if he were about to start a school lecture. Sam felt a tingle as Dyson continued to jeer at Richard. A strange sensation traveled up her spine and nuzzled into her brain. "Don't even think about it, Dyson," she blurted out. Too late. Dyson's punch was already speeding for the center of Richard's head. Sam took 3 big steps, her body acting on its own, fully knowing that she wasn't going to make it in time. She could already see the bloody mouth, broken teeth, and broken nose. But would he stop there? No, he wouldn't. Dyson would feel the strength of his position and strike again and again, until... Involuntarily, she closed her eyes at the last second. She did not want to see it. A thud and a yelp of pain was followed with a chorus of laughter. Confused, Sam opened her eyes to see what had happened. Over the din, Sam heard Cammie shout, "Dyson, you're such a goof! How did you miss? He was a half-meter in front of you!" More laughter sounded, including the Ganga, though they at least attempted to hide it. Dyson was enraged and holding his hand gingerly, which looked broken. He yelled at the Ganga to get Richard, who was already scrambling and tripping over his own feet in his desperate flight. Sam looked at Richard's chubby face. The idiot had his eyes closed. "Richard, you fool, open your eyes!" Richard's eyes popped open, his expression wild as he continued to scramble away from the Ganga. He stumbled along the border of the fence, trying to find an opening he could get through. No such luck. He turned and again ran back down the incline to Camelot's base. He didn't run more than a few meters when... Smack! Richard hit something hard, something that had not been there earlier. The glare of sunlight made it difficult to see into the early morning sun. Everyone was holding their hands to their eyes, and the Ganga's chase had stopped. Dyson was whimpering and swearing, but in a subdued tone. He was even cowering a bit. What Sam could make out in the glare took her a second to understand. She shifted her body just as it happened. "Whoa there, buddy," said a playful voice. "You better watch where you're going, or a faceplant into a wooden beam could be in your near future." Sam shifted again until she could finally see a tall boy steadying Richard. With shaggy blonde hair, clear blue eyes, and perfect bone structure, he stood in front of one of Camelot's structural supports and spoke to Richard in a low voice. Sam whispered his name without realizing it. Coda. Cammie, on the other hand, was less than subtle. "Oh, caraco! Coda made an appearance. One more and I win beautiful boy bingo. You hear that, Ashley? Put that in your old school bon and smoke it. Booyah!" Cammie's comment let the cork out of the rest of the spectators. They started to laugh. Coda was laughing right along with them as he walked towards the gathered crowd. "Camilla?" Coda nodded towards Cammie. "You're always such a treat." Cammie shot him a mischievous smile and mouthed, "Call me." Coda laughed again, but Dyson wasn't going to let it go. "This is a private matter, Coda." Apparently Dyson had found his courage, because he was now walking slowly up to the boy. Dyson's play, however, was less than intimidating, since Coda towered above him. "If it's a private matter, Dice, I suggest you leave the ganga out of it. I know I haven't been here long, but I've noticed they have a funny habit of showing up in your private matters. Maybe you should give them a day off, and then pick a fight with Richard." "Are you saying I can't win against Fatty?" bellowed Dyson, looking around the crowd, his face going a shade of red. "You think that dick over there could beat me? I've trained since I was 5, Coda. I'm the youngest master in Boran history." Coda smiled. "I think that Richard can hold his own. I don't care what sort of rank you have. I know all about you, Dyson. You've never fought anyone who could or would fight back. You have an awfully high opinion of yourself, and from what I know of Richard here, he isn't one to call you on it. But if you would like to find out, I would be happy to give you a real opponent." What Coda said next was too low to hear, but it was short, perhaps a single word. Whatever it was, it shocked Dyson. He took a step back, watching with a calculating look. Then, Dyson pulled up his interface and began tapping the screen like mad. After a few seconds, he tore his gaze away from it, but this time, his expression was very different. His eyes went wide as if he had just witnessed something not to his liking. He seemed almost scared. "I suggest you run along, Dyson, before something bad happens." Coda nodded towards one of the ganga. "Besides, you wouldn't want me to bloody your nose. I know how your mother hates that." Sam whistled and shook her head. Coda had just pushed Dyson's biggest button. Anyone that was even remotely wired in Academy City 676 knew that Dice Dyson was the world's biggest mama's boy. It was common knowledge. Common knowledge that threw Dyson into a rage whenever someone mentioned it. Coda had obviously known this, and was either trying to pick a fight, or was dumber than a fence post. Dyson's already red face lit up like a carnival balloon, and beads of angry sweat began forming on his brow. Sam watched him until she became a bit dizzy, then realized she was holding her breath. She exhaled and turned her attention back to Richard. She found him, and, as expected, he had his eyes closed. Sam looked back at Coda. He motioned towards the buzzing comm in one of the ganga's hands. "You'd better take that, Dyson," Coda said. "Gives you the opportunity to walk away." Dyson hesitated a moment longer, then ripped the comm out of the ganga's hand. "I'll take care of you later, Coda," spat Dyson, touching the side of his ear. He started off in the opposite direction. "I'll see you, but probably sooner than you think." Coda smiled. "I look forward to it." Dyson retreated and the group dispersed. Sam launched forward, trying to get to Richard. By the time she had pushed through, Coda was already there, helping him. "Richard!" Sam rushed to his side and hugged him. "Samantha, delightful to see you," he said, apparently unfazed. "I am sorry that I missed our date this morning." Cammie made a rude sound, something that was somewhere between a fart and a sarcastic laugh. "Yes, Camille? Is there something that I can help you with?" asked Richard in a calm, inquisitive voice. Cammie glared at him. She hated it when people called her by her real name. Coda, of course, being the exception. He could call her whatever he wanted. "I was just taking the time to correct you, Dick. You said date. I just want to let you know, only people who are like, together, go on dates." Richard shook his head wearily. "Camille, are you really suggesting that I take vocabulary advice from someone who not only wrote the essay, Why I Love Shopping, but actually spelled shopping incorrectly in the process?" Laughter erupted from Sam and Coda, the latter actually holding his gut while he chuckled. Cammie glared, which was less than serious. She was trying not to break out in a smile. Coda's guffaw subsided just enough to be understood. "Richard, I swear, man, you need to become a comedian. Your dry wit is almost too much." With giggles barely in the background, Coda, Richard, Cammie, and Sam gathered their stuff to leave. They still had a ways to walk, and class would be starting soon. It wasn't more than a few steps before Richard's burning gaze narrowed in on Sam. A look Sam knew all too well. Richard had questions for her. She thought through their homework from the previous night, the chem lab they were supposed to be preparing for, their physics class, and the dramatic monologue for their drama course. Sam filed through each of the subjects one after another, ready for any questions Richard could throw at her. Cammie's inquiry beat him to the punch. It was really lucky that you were passing by, Coda. But how did you know that Dick was in trouble? I thought you weren't connected to the inner cloud. Coda gave Cammie a jovial smile. Actually, it's funny you ask. It's quite the story. See, I was walking to class this morning. Samantha? Said Richard, asking the question as if Cammie and Coda weren't there. Sam noted a touch of concern in his voice. This may not be any of my business, and you know better than anyone that I am open to all types of styles. But do you really think it wise to attend a learning institution sopping wet? Sam's face flared red as she realized she was still soaking in her white shirt. She had been so worried about Richard that she had forgotten her earlier mishap. She cringed in embarrassment. Most of her section had been at that fight, and she had just been standing there, letting the group see her practically in her underwear. Richard, seeing her anxiety, removed his jacket and handed it to Sam. Sam smiled warmly at Richard and put it on. And that's when he told me about Richard and Dyson at the base of Camelot, so I rushed over there as fast as I could. Coda finished with another suave smile. Cammie giggled, a reaction that Coda followed. Both were in their own world, oblivious to Sam's problem. I can't believe he actually spoke to you, fawned Cammie. He's been here for 3 months, and I've heard him talk once. Sam's ears perked up. Are you two talking about Adam? Was he the one that told you to come and help Richard, Coda? Coda flashed Sam a wicked smile. Why are you asking, Sam? You haven't been taken in by Adam too, have you? Man, I've never seen someone get so many chicks before in my life. Cammie, I understand, but you? Cheating on Richard? Is that what a good wife would do? Ha, 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 Coda. I was just curious. Sam, did you realize that you're totally wet? Coda searched Sam up and down. And wearing a lacy cream-colored bra that is completely visible to Richard and myself? Coda's eyes went a little wide. Wow, Sam, have you offered thanks to the gods recently? Because they've certainly blessed you. Man, what a rack! Sam spun on her heel, punching Coda on the arm as she continued to walk backwards. She adjusted Richard's jacket to properly cover herself. Stop looking at my rack, Coda. Listen, guys, I've got to go back home and change. I'm totally wet, and... Sam stopped mid-sentence as she backed into something hard. Whoa there, came a voice that was soft and friendly. Careful now. Sam's face lost all its color, and her voice seized up. Hi. Hi, Adam.
Harmonics, Rise of the Magician. Written by Colin Earle and Chris Snellgrove. Music by The Epilogues. Hear more great tracks, get concert dates, and buy Epilogues gear at theepilogues.com. Don't want to wait until the end? Be sure to check out ColinEarle.com for the ebook and paperback editions of Harmonics, packed with extra chapters, exclusive content, and the entire first episode of Season 2.
We hope you're enjoying this free serialized audiobook. If you like what you're hearing, please tell a friend. Better yet, tell a friend and leave a contribution for the book at podiobooks.com. At least 75% of your donation will go straight to the author or producer, so please, be generous. And thanks for listening.